Okay, I'm making you host again. Please share your screen and
Yeah,
so
okay.
we can start installing Java. Yeah, please. Okay. So did you run this?
I did. I'll show you. I'm typing Java. That's what it's called.
Okay, you open the command prompt first. We can check it whether it is installed or not. Just press open the CMD.
Sorry.
Open the command prompt.
Yeah, I have.
Are you opening?
Oh, can you not see me? I mean, see the screen.
Yeah, I can see the screen, but it just hang on the start menu. Yeah, now I can see the run. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yes. Okay, just type Java C, Java.
Java C together.
Yes. Uh, yeah, now we haven't set the path. So we need to set the path for it. Yeah, go to the folder where JDK is present. Program file, go to the program file. Yes. Yes, till this, no, no. Can you go it once again on the same path? Because it should show the Java. Have you changed the name to Java from Java JDK name? Did you
Uh,
change the
yeah,
name?
it was showing that where would you like to store it. So I just changed to Java, like the folder I made.
Okay. Because if we have, then it will be easy for us
Okay,
to.
then should I just run it once again? Okay.
Yeah. Yes, it is already installed. You just need to go to that path where you have kept that down Java folder, either in the program. Usually, try to keep this folder in the Java program file. Okay. Go to this Java. Click on the Java. No, not that one. Till this Java, you copy the path. Till Java.
Quite not understanding what I'm saying.
I'm saying you copy the path. Uh, this document Anushka Java, right?
Yeah,
Copy the whole path.
to where?
Open this Java. Open this folder.
Okay. Yeah,
Now copy the path from the top. Can you see this? Yeah. From here, press enter there. Press enter. After the Java, press enter there.
I did.
No, you move the cursor after the Java. Take this.
Okay.
Yeah. Now press enter. Select it. Now press enter. No, no. You are clicking on the wrong. Just click there. Yeah. Click here. Yes. Click here after the Java here. Not there. You take the cursor there. Yeah.
Here?
Yes. Move ahead of the Java.
Okay.
Yeah. Now press click there. Yeah. Now you copy this whole path.
Okay.
Okay. Open the environment variable. No system environment variable. How to set the path. Go to
And,
the yeah. Go to this my computer. This PC. Can you see
okay.
this PC? Yeah. Right click. Right click. Property. This click on this advanced system setting. Oh yeah, environment variable, click there. Now here, click on new in the below one, system variable, yeah, new. Now type uh, Java home, Java in block letter, not in small, capital, all capital Java underscore home. Yes, now paste the path. Now, okay, yes, just see this Java home, yeah, okay, okay. Now you go to the command prompt. Don't close this. Let it be open so we can check it once whether it is installed or not. Uh,
Okay.
Go to the command prompt. Yeah. Okay. Type again Java C or Java. You can type it. Enter. Yes. Type Java space hyphen version. VERSION version. Yeah. Press enter. So see, you have set the path, right?
Okay.
Similarly, you do it for Java C. So it means that currently 1.80.291 is the version you have installed in your system, right? Now you
Mhm.
type it Java C hyphen version. Give a space. No, you have to give a space. Just like we have seen Java hyphen version, right? Yes. Java C is not recognized. Right. 1 minute. Okay, you click on that this advanced system setting again, environment variable, and cl-
You?
select this path. Click on this
Which part?
path. This path you can see on system variable path. Very here you can see, yes, select it, edit, click on this edit button. Hmm. Click new and paste the path that you have copied. Now under you add bin also here, slash bin. Yes, now okay, okay, and just check it once, don't close it.
Okay.
Okay, open the command. It's already open. Okay, you type Java C hyphen version. It's Java C is not recognized. Okay. Okay, 1 minute. You can okay, you go to the browser once again,
Okay.
any browser, open the browser and download the Eclipse also because we need a Eclipse ID also. I just see it about it. No, path is not there. You can just click there. No, here I haven't share anything.
Okay. Then what should I download?
Just open the tab, new tab, and type Eclipse. ECLIP. Yeah, click on this Eclipse download. Yeah, click on this first. Yeah, yes, and download it. Allow cookies. Yeah, download this. Download. Click on the download. Yeah, let it be downloaded. Uh, is it start downloaded?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just wait, let it start. It's downloaded. Okay, till then you just open the command prompt again. Okay, it's downloaded. Yes. And type, I'm sending you the command. You just type
Mhm.
one.
Okay, I have to stop sharing for that or something. Okay.
No, because we need to install it on your system, right? So it
Uh, this one?
yes. So let it be do the configuration completely, so that like when I will start the programming, then it will be easy for you to run. Type echo. Yeah, is it giving the post? Just replace this Java with all block letter. I think yeah. One minute, let me send it to you again.
It's okay, I'll type it.
So just type it all block letter. Yes. You forgot to add echo before that. Okay, you no issue. You first complete it. Yeah.
Equal also in
No, no, it will be in a small only. It's a Linux command to just print it. Yeah. Yeah, percentage sign. Yes. Enter. Home.
should I run this?
Yes, you run this. I just see it 1 minute.
Yeah, the
Uh,
first one.
yes. Install. Accept now. Can you open the command prompt till then? This is install. Just open the command. Go to the advanced system setting. Okay, first go to the path from where you have kept that Java folder, because I think you have changed the name. That's the reason that Java compiler is not able to detect it. Can you just open the folder?
Okay. This one is the folder.
Yes. You download once again, otherwise. Go to that path and download the Java once again,
Okay.
and save. Okay, before going to that, go to the program file, whether the Java is there or not. Go to the program file. Not this one.
Then
In C drive we have a program file folder is there. Open the C drive. Yeah. Here you see any Java. Oh yeah, this one. Click on this Java. Yeah, this is a JDK. Click here. We copy this whole path. Yes. Now open this advanced system setting. Yes. Click on this. No, no, not there. Cancel it. Click on this Java home. Edit. Yeah. You replace this. Yes. Okay. Okay. Now don't close this. Wait. Open the command prompt. Check it once whether it is working. Type
what should I do? Java C
yeah,
version or just Java C?
Java. Don't give a space between that. You just type Java C. Recognize. You type echo percent Java home. Is it not giving any path? Why is it so? It's not giving. Go to the advanced system setting. Whether you have typed the same Java home or not, just check it. You have typed the Java home.
Why you have typed Java home by the way?
You are setting the path for this Java in your system. In your system variable, we need to set the path for the Java.
Yeah,
Then,
that is fine, but why the variable's name is Java underscore home? I
uh,
have kept simply Java.
yeah, you can keep it any name. I have usually Java home. I have given just to remember this, that this is the home path for Java.
Okay,
I set it. You
yeah,
can,
that is fine.
if you want, you can change it. It's not the issue. The name just I give it Java home because to just tell you this is the home directory, means home path for the
No,
Java.
I thought we have to just keep the name in which I have saved all the files. So that's
You press OK. I think we need to restart your laptop once, because to check whether the setup has done or not. Because in my system, I just set the path. Okay, go to the Java link that I've shared in the Trello. Go to that path.
just one minute.
Yes, 1 minute. Yeah. Go down.
Go down.
Yes. Okay. Okay. See the first Eclipse. Has it installed?
What?
Eclipse has it installed?
Uh,
Just check once that, then we can look into that. Yeah, launch. Click on the launch. You close this show, no, not this one. You can see this show all the downloaded that you have. Yeah, cut this. Okay, yes. uh, Maximize this. Click on this create a new Java project. Give any name as of now. Any name, demo, any name. Finish. No, don't create. Yes. Okay. Click on this, cut it, this donate X. You can you can see it here. It is showing you donate at the top. No, not there. If you go above, yeah, cut it. Yes. Click on this demo. SRC. Click on this SRC. Right click, new class. Yeah, give any name and select this public static void main. This one. Which method stub? Yeah. Finish it. Okay. Press in the line 4. At line 4 and you press enter before curly brace. Line 4. Yeah. Press enter. Yeah. Now in between these two curly brace, just type this line I'm sending you on the chat. Just 1 minute. I'm sending you. Just wanted to check whether it is working. Otherwise, uh, I will see. Okay, you will able to write it. I send it to you. Yeah, okay. Just run this. How you're going to run it? You can see this green arrow uh, below the reflector. You can type anything, hello and whatever it is.
Yeah, what should I do?
Yeah, click on this green button, arrow one, below the reflector, not there, on the left top, left refractor below, just below that, beside one, yeah, this one, beside one, on the left side, yeah, this one. Run this, yeah, okay, yeah, it's working, right? So this it's working here, means the Java that you have installed, it is working here. You click on this JRE system library, so you see Java SE15 is working here. So that's the reason it's not giving any error. But if you want to run that a command prompt, then
Yeah.
there might be some error, so that we need to check it. You can minimize this. So we have successfully installed this Eclipse. Okay, suppose if you want to run any program, you can similarly go to the file, click on the file. At the top you can see file, left, yeah, new. You can create
Yes.
the Java project, or if you want to create a new Java project, then you will click this. Inside the project, if you want to create a new class, then you can click the new class. Go down, select Java project. You can give any name to the new project, like suppose you want to work on a new project, and you can do it. Am I audible, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So here you can give this new project. Inside this new project, you can create a class, and you can start making the code. So we use IDE. Don't create a module. This is a, it will create a temporary module that we don't need it. Okay. So with the help of this, and suppose if you want to close the project, how you can do it? Go to you can see close project.
Eh?
If you want to close the project, then just click on the project name, like demo. and right click, and you can see close project option is there below. Refresh, go down. So once you close this project will close. It will not delete it, it will just close. It means that now you it will not be accessible as of now because you have closed it. So you can run it from the new project, the file. Okay. So we will in our syllabus we will going to run all the programs in this Eclipse one, because
Okay.
it's a standard ID. Many people they use it. Here it is, it will make it easy for you to manage the program, run the program, delete the file, or create a package, right? So it will be easy. And we were talking about the setting of the path in system variable, right? That is
Yeah.
with respect to your command prompt. If you want to run file in the notepad, if you write a code in any notepad and you want to run it, then that time we use that one. But some error is coming, I think some JRE is missing. Have you installed that Java runtime environment also? Did you try?
No, I didn't.
Okay, you just go to the browser.
Yeah, what should I download?
JRE.
Is there or I should type it?
Sorry,
Like, is it in this or okay?
just 1 minute. Yeah, you no, it is not there here because it is a JDK. Just type there Java runtime environment and see whether it is, yeah. Download JRE download.
It's the same page, right?
Yes,
It's like the same.
but here it is for JRE. Download the last one.
This or this?
This one, yeah.
XE, right? I
Yes.
mean, EXE. And it's done, I guess.
It's downloaded, right? Have you? Okay. Yeah. Go to the command prompt again. Not there. Sorry. You go to the advanced system setting. Hmm. And in the program file, okay, click on environment variable, and click on the Java home path. Here, yeah, Java home path. Before going to that, just open the path of program file where you have kept Java. Open the program file Java. Yes, yeah, click there. uh, Click on the bin. Is there Java C is there? Just check it. Java C, yeah, it is present. You copy this whole path and you paste it similarly there.
In advanced setting.
Yeah, it here, yes. You can add a yes, okay, okay, yes. Now open command prompt. Uh, Try it once again. Java C. You close this. You close all this command prompt. Open the fresh one. recognize. Okay. Just 1 minute. Let me check it. Why it's not coming. Just type Java C and press enter. See whether it is giving you any error or what. Java C itself is not recognized. Okay. Okay, just 1 minute. Let me check it. Okay. Open that part one that you have set. Um, Click here.
Right.
Yes, the path is correct. Why it's not getting this? Okay. Okay, you can do one thing. Just restart the. But if you restart, then you will be disconnected. Okay, you can do one thing. After the class, just restart the system and
Okay.
check whether it is recognized or not. Okay. In
Yeah.
case if it is not recognized, then so in the tomorrow morning when we connect, I will explain you like how you can resolve that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Now we can run the code in Eclipse. In Eclipse you can run it. This is actually I was telling you because in case suppose if you don't have ID, because earlier days IDs were not available, so people means the person like a developer, they were running on the notepad file. Okay. As I've shown you yesterday, I've shown you one code, right?
Yeah.
Remember, in the notepad file I open it and I run on the command prompt.
Yeah.
So in the same way, people were running earlier before the IDE. So that I wanted to show you, and I wanted to configure on your system also, so you can have a practice on both. But right now, I think some JRE and might be it is giving error, or might be you need to restart the system. So today we can do one thing. I just start explaining you about the Java stuff, about the operator and all. So from tomorrow we can run on your notepad file if it configure after the restart. Otherwise we will do in the Eclipse and I will resolve it your notepad issue, means this Java C compiler issue. Okay.
I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, use just stop share and make me host.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So in the previous class we have seen primitive data type, right? So before going to that, right? Did you get access to the slide that I've shared in the GitHub and the note?
Yeah. I did.
Okay. So what is the structure of the program? Did you understand from that? Structure of the program is something like this. Okay. You can see on my screen, right? Uh, this is the package. Don't go as of now because you you are just a beginner. So like package and all, we will see later on. Package is just a collection of classes. When you combine similar classes, suppose uh, in a one app you have a several classes. Like Login is one class, sign up is one class, some operation is having different classes are there. Classes, you can say different file. So you all package all those classes inside one folder, that is called a package. Okay, so here the structure is like that. You create a class, as you know, like Java is an object oriented. Okay, so in this object oriented, everything is in the form of object, class and object. I will explain you what is class when we start the OOP concept. But as of now, I'm just telling you like what is the structure of the program. Structure of the program is you need to start the program with the class, and this is a keyword which is fixed. You can't change the class keyword by another keyword, and this is the name which is user defined. It completely based on you. You can give any name to the class. Once you are done with this, then inside the class you have this main method. If you have already, you know, you have run the program in C, so their main function was there, right?
Yeah.
Void in, what was the task of the main function?
Like coding.
Correct. So here also this main function is responsible for executing your code. Means this main is the beginning of the execution. This main method, as it will tell the compiler that the code will start executing from here. Okay,
Okay.
so inside this main method you have this public static void main string argument this square bracket. What do you mean by this, and what is mean by public? Okay, public means that this method is publicly available. It can be accessed from anywhere. Public, just like public transport, it can be accessible by anyone, right? There is no restriction on that.
Yeah.
So here same thing, this method is public. It can be accessible from anywhere of the program. Second thing is what? Static. Static tells us that this method belong to this class only. Okay, static tells you that this method belong to this class.
It
Void,
is demo nested well.
sorry.
So you said static tells that this belongs to that particular class,
Yes,
and here our class name is demo nested
yes,
while. So
yes,
that's what it means.
yeah, correct. So here void means, you know, void is an empty data type that will not going to return anything. So this main method is not returning anything, right? Do you see that it's going to it returning anything in the sense, means this method will not returning any value. You are just printing it. Printing is different. Returning value means where we define a user defined function, and that user defined function will going to return suppose any value after doing some operation. You might have seen in the C language, if you have a walk on that, you might have seen something like this, return 0. Or you might have seen in C++, like you used to write an operation, return x plus y.
Yeah, I know in functions we use that.
Yes, so these are what, these are actually you are returning a value. Means with the help of return keyword, they will going to return a value and take the flow of the program back to the method. Okay,
Okay, like it will not just print, it will just return the value and come back to the program.
yes, correct.
Okay.
The return keyword is used for that itself. Return keyword is used to return a value and take the flow of the program back to this method so that they can start execution again. That's why in user defined function we used to write return x plus y or return 0. Return 0 means in the sense you don't have anything to return, so we just write it sometime return 0. You, it usually ask in the gate exam also why we write return 0. So you can write anything in place of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, anything. Usually people write 0 because you don't have to return anything. But when you write like this, it means that it will going to perform addition of between x and y and take the flow of program back to the method, so that when you call method again, you might have a knowledge about function calling and function declaration. right? In C language, you
Yeah, I do. I know.
so suppose we usually declare a method like this, right? In C language, you might have seen we are declaring like this, int x, int y, and we provide a body, and while and we call it like this sum, and we pass the value 4 5, right? So this is what this is function calling. Okay,
Yeah.
based on my calling value, this function will going to perform operation, right? So
Yeah.
suppose, okay, so suppose you have passed one time 4 and 5, it will going to return 9
But I
again.
still don't understand this. Like instead of writing return, even though if I'll just write keep print uh percentage day and then express I or something, then still it will print off now. Then I don't understand the use of return. Like till now I have no idea properly.
Yeah, that's why I'm telling you. Now if I call again 5 by 4, okay, now okay, let's take another example now. Okay, so suppose you print by 4 and 5, you pass it, okay, and it has print the 4 and 5, it has written the value, okay, but the flow is, the current flow of the program is present at a what point? Here, right? Now in next case, when you call it again, your compiler, how it will identify that, means obviously when you will call it again, the flow will go back again here, okay, but how you want the compiler, the flow should be at the top itself, right? Then only your, when you call that function, the flow will go to this method and they will perform an operation. Okay, let me explain you in a more simple way. Here you have created a method and you are returning a value, okay.
Uh-huh.
Now you are saying that I can use system out print and I can print the value, okay, you can print the value, but in that case your flow will not be back to this method. Your flow will be, the flow of the code will be present here itself and waiting for performing an operation again. So in case suppose if you call again the method, okay, now compiler won't be able to identify like whether it has to start from which method, whether it has to again perform an operation same, or it has to go back to the method and do the operation from the start. Are you getting what I'm saying? Shall I?
Yeah, so I understood. So instead of return x plus y, in case if I write print x plus y, then
Hmm.
what is it gonna print?
If you print it, it will simply print it, right? It will going to print the value, okay, and it will not come out of the loop. It will going to print the value, and the flow of the program will be remain here itself. And when you call it again, at
Mhm.
that time your compiler will take more time to identify the position where currently I am, means the cursor will be present here. Okay, so now when you call it again, your compiler will take more time. But in case if you use return keyword, it will going to return the value and the flow will be back again here, so it will be ready for other calling.
Okay, so in short, it will just reduce the time. That's why we use the return. Okay.
Yeah.
अच्छा इसलिए जब बड़ी बड़ी प्रोग्रामिंग करते हैं so okay.
So इसलिए हम जब programs, lengthy program, we usually avoid to print a value.
Yeah,
If
okay.
you have seen in the industries and all, and you already have an experience as you said it, so you might have seen in like some companies, they usually print value less, they return value more, and it depends on the scenario, but printing will be unnecessary occupying your output space, and
Yeah.
returning value will only going to return value in the memory. So that's the reason we, what we do it, we just call it, and when we call it with the help of this return keyword, this return keyword will take the flow of your program back to the method.
Yeah, okay. Got it.
That's the reason when you call it again, your compiler will be aware that okay, this is the method, and you need to execute this.
Yeah, okay. I understand.
So this was the um, void data type. Void data type is an empty one, and It's like we can use integer, float, data type also in order to tell what kind of value we're going to return. But main method is not returning value, so we usually write a void here. Then main is the name of a method, and now this one, this
So
string.
usually in all kind of coding, the
Hmm.
industry level coding, do the main is always void? Like does it always work that way?
Yeah, because main is void because main never return a value means you we usually not use we usually the main method is only for calling. Okay, means they are for the execution of the code, but inside the code we use user defined data type or user defined method. So those,
Okay, yeah, that I understood. But in case if I change, just in case if I change the type from void to something else, then it will throw error or it will not.
it will give a throw error because I'm not returning any value here.
Yeah, it's like we are.
When I will going to return any value, in that case it will be removed. So
Okay,
that's
so
why I
that
said you it depends on the scenario. If you are trying to return any value here, in that case it will be not give you an any error. But in case void is used for what? Void tells you that you are not returning any value in this method.
yeah, that
Means
I understood.
you are just printing it and you don't care even if the flow will back to this method or what, because
Yeah, okay.
you are just printing this value. But return keyword is used when you want the flow to back to the main method so that you are ready to do the another task.
Yeah,
You
okay.
can see when I add a return I, at that time the error is removed. But suppose if I comment it, it will give an error here. It will show you that you need to add a return type. And if I click on this add return type, it will return it. So here it is giving an error. Main method must return a value of type void in a class demo nested while. Please define the main method as public static void main. Because I'm not returning any value here. Means there is no mean of returning any value. Here values are not there. I'm just printing the symbol here. Okay, let me comment it. Let me show you the output and then we can see it. Actually, this is for printing the pattern. This is a program for printing the pattern. This one. So here we are not returning any value. We are not doing any operation here. We are just printing a pattern. So that is the reason when I run this, it was giving me the error that you need to change this public static return type to void because of no return type, because you are not returning value, and your flow of the program no need to be go back to the main method again in order to be ready for another task. Am I clear? Or
Yeah, yeah, I understood.
if anything, if it is not clear, please ask me immediately at that time, so
Yeah,
that
yeah, sure.
it will be so it will be not in the file. Like suppose if you have any doubt, you can ask me, you can send me on the Trello also, that I face this doubt, so I can come up with the more better example so that I can explain you. Just like in have you read that document that I share you, the based on JRE JDK in the GitHub?
I have downloaded that zip file and I saw that there were slides and yesterday class notes. That's all I saw.
I share you one document to explain you better way the differences between JVM, JDK, and JRE. And
Yeah,
those,
that one I saw.
yeah, just have a look on that one PDF file. In that PDF file, the explanation was given in a very easy way that will guide you about that. What is
Oh,
JRE, JVM at a system level? How we work on that.
yeah, okay.
Yes. So after that, what do you mean by this string argument. This is used in order to read a user, in order to read a command line argument from a user. When you run this, okay, suppose when we run any program, it asks the user to enter a value, right?
Yeah.
C language, you might have used scanf, right? So this string argument is used to read a command line argument, means the user command line argument or a value that are passed by the user, so that this can hold the data. Okay, because why we are using this array, because you can pass the value as much as possible and this can be ready to hold it. Okay, let me show you the example. I have written the example also here, and with proper example you can have a look on this. I have explained everything here. What do you mean by public? As I have written, public is an access modifier. It is specify who can access the method. Similarly, I have added here static, which is associated with method, make it class related method, right? So, and I have explained you what is use of void. It's a keyword used to specify the method that does not return anything. So it is a keyword, right? And the third one is your main method. What is the name of the method? So you can't change this name because it is defined by Java that the name of a method should be main, because main is responsible for execution of your whole code. So we kept it as a main. And the thing is string argument. It stores Java command line argument, is an array type, and it can store any value. It's not fixed. Means you might be aware about dynamic array or static array. Do you know that? Do you have an idea about it? Dynamic or static array?
Yeah, I know, I know.
Okay. So dynamic array in the sense like means that can be hold any size of data. You are not restricted to the any size. In static array, we usually do like this. We declare an array, suppose integer a, and you need to specify 10. It means that it can hold maximum 10 element. So this is can be static type, right? Means you have defined the size here. Okay, now here suppose if you want to save 100 data, it won't be able to hold it because you have defined the size 10. And if you want to save more than this, compiler will sometime give an error. So it depends on the compiler, Java or C, whether it is able to hold more than this element or not. And what do you mean by dynamic? Dynamic in the sense we don't declare any size, we leave it empty, so that based on the element that you pass it, it will calculate the memory and it will save it. You can save it here one element, you can save it two element, you can save it 100 element also. Any element size you can save it here. So this is difference between static and dynamic. Is it clear to you?
Yeah, it is.
So the advantage of dynamic is it will save a memory. It's flexible, is not restricted. But here this is a restricted one. It is fixed. So this is the difference between static and dynamic. And why we use string argument, so that we can read any command line argument from the user, any value we can use it. Okay.
By the way, so if we are like our array type is integer, so for the dynamic array, the maximum it can take will be the integer size, right? Like 2 to 4 byte.
Sorry, I did not understand your question.
Like uh, there will be a size, right? For if we are declaring something as integer, then there will be a size that more than that it cannot take the value. Like
I No, no. Here size in the sense here, your size here is not with respect to uh, memory. Means here size I mean to say that the number of element it can hold.
Yeah, so there is no limit to the number of elements it can hold. There will be
Yes,
something, right?
means here this can the yesterday when I was explaining you, that is the size of a data type, means that was not the number of value it hold, that was maximum value that any data type, means for integer it was -3 to 767 to 768 to 32767. It means that this value, maximum value of integer will be this one. Means suppose if you have a value 32768, then it will comes under long data type. That is different. That is means the range of a value. Here I am talking about size of element, means 10, 20, 30, 40, any number of element it can hold. So each element will having a 4 byte. So here we have a cell, array will have a cell, right?
Yeah.
So each element will occupy 4 byte or 2 byte. So it's not the problem. Here you are not considering, like suppose here, even if having 1,000 element, 1,000 into 4 is equal to like suppose 4,000, or you can say it 40,000 also if it will be there, then that is not the matter. Here we are talking about the element, and it's saved in the form of cell. You know, right? Cell, how
Yeah,
it
I
works.
know.
So in this cell, the datas are saved in particular cell. So we are not talking about the range. Yeah, range in the sense, in this cell the value should not be greater than 32767. That you can say it range of value. But any element it can save it. That I am saying. Is it clear?
Yeah, it's clear. But I'm saying there is no limit for the dynamic array, like
No,
how much it can hold. If I want to put like 1,000 values in that array, that could be put. I know 10,000, 20,000. There will be some limit, no?
no, it's not. We use malloc, calloc in C language, and Java they calculate a memory dynamically. Means your Java programs are they're more efficient in memory management, so we don't need to bother about the size of the element,
Okay.
and they can save it. You can use they can save any element, and normally uh, if you might have worked about the competitive programming, or like if you have done coding challenges there, they check your code on the large size test cases. So there we use array itself. There is no limitation on the number of element we can save it. If there
Yeah.
is any we can use some dynamic features available in the Java, so that we can hold as much as element in an array, because
Okay.
elements are saving in a cell, so that is not the problem for a array to manage it. Accessibility will be difficult. If you have a large number of value, then accessibility will be difficult. Accessibility in the sense, suppose you have a suppose 1 lakh element, you have saved it. Okay, so obviously it will be difficult to access the element that are at the end or at the middle. If you want to delete any element, if you want to change it in array, then accessibility will be difficult. So in that case you can say it like, instead of creating a single array, you can create a two or twice array or three array, or you can save a data in more than one array, just like means we have seen it. But accessibility, you can say it, accessibility can be difficult in case of large number of element hold by an array. But you can't say it like it can't save more than any specific size of an element. Means you can't say it can't save more than 10,000 element or what.
Okay.
Accessibility will be an issue, because in array, if you want to delete an element in between, then you need to swap also, right? Suppose you have an element 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. I say you delete an element 4 and remove all this element left side by 1. So suppose if you delete it, this 5 will move to one position again, this 6 will move. So in that case it will be difficult to manage it.
Okay. I got it. Management will be difficult, but it's possible.
Yes. So this was the concept. This is the thing I have written it. So in order to make you understand, like in case if anything you don't understand, you can read it from here. I will share this thing also with you. Okay. Explanation regarding your public static void main. What do you mean by public? What do you mean by static? Static means that it's belong to the current class method. Main method is belong to the current class, and you don't need to invoke it. Okay, we don't need to you don't need to invoke that method. Once you run your code, your JVM can run that method immediately. Okay, you don't need to call any method. How we call the method, as I've shown you, right? uh, I was explaining you.
Yeah,
Just 1 minute. Like I've shown you, like we can create a one method. Just 1 minute. So suppose, as I've shown you, that you have some method, some, and in that method, if you want to call it, we usually call it by just calling the name. In C language, you have seen like that. If you have a knowledge of C++, do you have a knowledge of C++?
no, I have no idea about C++.
Okay. So here in Java, we create an object, and with that object, we call a method. Okay, just like we create an object, suppose obj, and I will going to call a method with the help of object. In object-oriented programming, method we usually call it with the help of object. Okay, but here this is a main method. So to this main method, you don't need to create an you don't need to call this main method with any object. Okay,
Okay.
main method is a Java method. Main method, you don't need to call it with an object. However, when you define a user defined function, in that case you need to use this user defined method to call the object. But the main method is the beginning of the execution of program, so we don't need it. Okay, is it fine? Is
Yeah,
it
it's fine.
okay? So let's see about this operator. So hope did you see it about the variable? Have you checked it about variable?
Yeah,
So do you have any doubt or
no.
okay? So just start about the operator. So in Java, there are different kind of operators are available, just like in C. Okay, you have seen it. So there are increment operator, urinary operator. So usually operator are classified into three category first that we say unary operator. Second is your binary, and third is ternary. Do you have any idea about it? Anything if you have heard it?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. You have done work on assembly, then you might have aware. Unary operator, which is work on a single variable. Binary, which works on more than one variable, that is two variable, and ternary, more than two variable, that is called three variable. Okay. So unary operator, it means what kind of operator comes increment decrement, right? In increment decrement, you need only one variable, right? We usually do a plus plus, a minus minus, right? So here you just working on single variable. Okay, and on this single variable you are incrementing value, decrementing the value. Now if I say binary operator, then it can be like a plus b, or a minus b, a divided by b, or where you are working on more than one variable. And ternary is like a ternary operator, you might have heard about it, where you are working on more than one variable.
Step. Yeah.
So suppose if A is greater than B, then we usually write syntax like this. Yeah, 1 minute. So if A is greater than B, then it will be your one condition will occur here. Suppose yes, otherwise no. So when you work on more than two variable, then it will be a ternary operator or ternary variable, you can say. So here, like here, you can see this question mark and this colon. So here, suppose if this condition is true, then you will going to print this value, otherwise this value. You
Yeah.
know it.
Yeah. I've done it. See.
So this operator part is very easy. You can have a look on this operator part.
Yeah, I can see it by myself. I know this much.
Okay. So there are few more mod operator is there, shift operator are there. You can shift the value left and right. And if you see this more than this this symbol, this is less than one or greater than one, it means that you need to shift three times. And this is called instance of operator, less than equal to, greater than equal to, equality, not equal, right? Bitwise end means when you want to work on bit data, like binary value.
Yeah. I know. When we want to perform the operations of and or on binary values. So,
Correct. Good. So here logical or logical and they all are working on when you want to work on. Okay, logical and or means when both the condition are true, then it will.
and if one is true, then it's odd.
Yeah, correct. And then you know the compound assignment means the short form like if.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, then that's great. You can have a look on this operator part. Okay, and so this operator is not a big difficult part. So we can do one thing. You just check your system today with just restart the system and let me know whether it is Java C is working or not. Okay. So tomorrow morning when we connect, so shall I start programming from tomorrow onward, or first I will explain you the theory and then we can move.
No, start the programming.
So tomorrow onward, I think we should start the program. We have a class in the morning, right? Uh, so
So, but I think we have 2 hour class, but then we are never doing the 2 hour class. It's almost 1 hour or 15 minutes. Goes like that.
yeah, because means I feel that like if I take a long, it will be boring. So that's why I usually take it 115 hour.
No, no, I don't like the theory part much actually. So that's why I told you that I'm having a lot of confusion oops part. So
Okay, okay, okay. Then so means we can do one thing like tomorrow when we connect back, I can make you complete oops concept only because I think we should start oops first. Then we have done this operator, you already know it. If condition and all, I will start later on. Oops concept, I will start it tomorrow.
actually, I know all these FLs and while and for and
Okay,
so these things.
so we will go into the oops then.
I have to just work on the algorithms.
Mhm.
That one takes time. And oops, yeah, oops is the header for me. Like,
Okay, okay. No, actually, I take a classes for other batch also. So they says like you take for 1.5 hour and then like give a time for practice. So I usually take it for that so that it should be not burden to give more time.
okay, yeah, that's fine.
Then otherwise,
Anyways, I have exam tomorrow, so that is okay for me.
okay, we can do one thing. We tomorrow onward I will start the OOPS. And just
Okay.
no, you ping me on the Trello whether after restart Java C is working or not. If not,
Okay.
then I will
In case it doesn't work, I'll just uninstall it, and then I'll install back again.
yeah. Otherwise, you ping me. I will connect back in evening once with you.
Yeah, okay, sure.
You ping me. Don't forget it whether it is installed or not, because if it installs successfully, then we can start OOPS concept tomorrow.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, then thank
Okay.
you.
So have a look on this. This
Yeah, sure.
we have a link, right? Shall I share once again?
I know I have you sent it, no? Last class.
Yeah. So
Yeah, okay.
just have a look on this. If you find anything not clear, ping immediately on that Trello once, and
Yeah, okay.
or you can list down all the question and ping in the night. So make I will find the references or good resource for that, and I will share with you so that you it will be easy for you to understand.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Okay. So tomorrow we'll start this OOPS concept. So let's connect tomorrow.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Bye. Take care.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.